Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth. Citations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Akwai. I'm back in here with another quick lesson. And today's lesson is it wise to attend a protest? Now, quickly, yesterday or the day before, I saw a quick video of the elder in South Carolina where, these two so-called Jewish women, they came up to him and they were asking him questions and so on and so forth. And then after, the part I kind of want to stress more on is that, after the fact, because there was a quick glimpse of when the elder, panned the camera, because eventually after they left, when you watch the video, after they left, there was a huge protest, and he saw an Israelite that was in the protest with the whole Palestinian conflict and all that kind of stuff going on. And I thought to myself, okay, is that I can make this edifying, right? Because a lot of our people, get caught up in what's going on in the news, right? Especially our people, right? And they're starting to take sides and go to these protests and so on and so forth. First and foremost, we don't take either side of the Palestinians and the so-called Jews, right? We don't take either of these sides, right? As these are the enemies. That's first and foremost. When you read Psalms 83, right? It goes into the list of the different enemies, and they're both the enemies of the nation of Israel, right? But our people like to, jump and, and take on the mantle for these, for the plight and the affliction of these other nations. But, when we, when the prophets, starting with our apostles and elders, give them the correction to actually heal them, they scoff at you, kind of like the whole Yahweh Shai and Barabbas situation, essentially, right? So I'm just going to bring out a couple of quick precepts. I want to stop rambling, and, Yahweh Rakaz, as always, hopefully this lesson is edifying, right? So, there's a quick precept I actually thought of. I didn't think I put it on the on my lesson plan here, but I just wanted to bring out this quick precept. So here it says, this is Proverbs chapter 17 verse 15, and it reads, "He that justifieth the wicked and that condemneth the just, even both are an abomination to the Lord," right? And I just quickly thought of this, because when you think about the situation with Yahweh Shai and Barabbas, they wanted him dead, but Barabbas was a criminal, and this is why they come down and they get emotional when the prophets and the elders give them that correction, right? So let's jump to, I want to jump to verse 2, not verse, Salakia. I want to jump to verse, chapter 20. So this is chapter 20, verse 3 in Proverbs, and it says, "It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling," right? So, Jake has this mentality, they have a mentality you have to, you have to show some kind of bravado, to when you go to these protests, you have to show yourself, to be manly, and that's not smart. That's not wise, right? Let's get the word strife really quickly. Just give me 1 second. I want to look it up in the etymology. Okay, strife, it says in the etymology, it says discord, contention, a quarrel, a fight. It says fight, battle, combat, conflict, dispute, quarrel, impetuosity. Let's see what that means. Just give me 1 second. So impetuosity, it says the fact of tending to act or do things quickly without thinking carefully about the results, right? So somebody who's rash, right? Scriptures talk about not being hasty, right? Let's see here. So let's see if there's any more on this. Act of strifing. No, that's about it. So it says dispute, quarrel, fight, and that's exactly what a protest is. So back to the scripture here, it says it's honor. It is honorable to cease from strife, right? But our people have this kind of mentality, like you have to show some kind of bravado and puff up your chest, and when you go into these sorts of your quarrels and debates and all these different protests, and it doesn't lead to anything. It doesn't lead to any solution at all. You just have two sides that are completely polarized, and that's exactly what's going on. And the media is constantly perpetuating this, and you are running on the people's emotions on this, right? So I'll read it again. Actually, I want to get it in the NLT. It kind of comes down, fairly nicely. Okay, so in the heading it says on life and conduct. So in the NLT it reads Proverbs chapter 20 verse 3. It says avoiding a fight is a mark of honor. Only fools insist on quarreling, right? So, this is something that is very, very foolish, because we don't quarrel with people. We don't go and entertain, debates and contention and strife and all these things that don't lead to anything, right? Let's jump to verse 22. Salakia. Chapter 22. This is Proverbs 22 and 3. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished, right? In the NLT it says, a prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions, but the simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences, right? So, prudent man, you see things, you have foresight. You see things that are going on and you hide yourself. You might hide yourself physically, but in this situation, yes, we do hide ourselves physically by removing ourselves from these particular situations, because we don't want to be involved in these things, right? Because it has nothing to do with us directly, more like indirectly, right? Because we know it's a prophecy that's constant, that's playing out, right? But we also hide ourselves in the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the scriptures, right? Because that gives us the discernment of, things to get into and things to completely avoid, right? This is the discernment, and that was one of the key traits that King Solomon prayed for. And when you read First Kings, I think it's the 3rd chapter, right? This is the wisdom that he prayed for. Let's get okay, here it says Amos 3 and 3. It says, quickly can two walk together except they be agreed. In the NLT it says, can two people walk together without agreeing on the direction, right? So it absolutely makes no sense to attend these things, because there's absolutely zero agreement on both sides if you were to actually attend this protest, because there is absolutely no solution at all, right? So that's why we don't get involved in these situations. We don't go to their protests. We stay out of the limelight, right? And we just watch. We're just watching. That's all we do, right? Let's get a quick account. Okay, this is First Samuel chapter 18, verse 10, and it reads, "The very next day of the tormenting spirit from the Most High Yahweh overwhelmed Saul, and he began to rave in his house like a madman. David was playing the harp, and and as he did each day. But Saul had a spear in his hand, and suddenly hurled it at David, intending to pin him to the wall. But David escaped him twice." Verse 12. Saul was then afraid of David, for the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai was with David, and turned away from Saul. Finally, Saul sent him away and appointed him commander over 1,000 men, and David faithfully led his troops into battle. Right? So actually the quick point I actually wanted to get was Salaki, just give me 1 second. Oh, okay, I didn't hit the point yet. Verse 14. David continued to succeed in everything he did, for the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai was with him. In the KJV is the key point I wanted to hit. In verse 14, it says, "And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai was with him," right? So it was his behavior, right? And this is an honorable behavior, and this is a king, right? He wasn't king at the time, but he was kind of like on the come up essentially, right? So and this is somebody who actually had, imagine your father-in-law throwing javelins at you. He avoided it, but David didn't get in his turn to his flesh and started puffing up his chest and get angry and took the javelins back and throw it back at Saul. He didn't do that, right? So going back to the first one of the precepts I read in Proverbs, it's an honor for a man to cease from strife, right? So she did the honorable thing to doing so by not actually contending with Saul and actually quarreling with the man either, right? He was very, very spiritual in this account, right? So anyways, I don't really want to make this lesson too long. It was kind of like a brief thing. I just wanted to hit on the point. I don't think it's a wise thing to actually attend these protests, especially in these times, right? Because Esau is coming out in great wrath, because he knoweth that he has a short time, right? So he's looking for little things to actually demonize us, right? So this is why I make particular lessons on conduct and when we go about our daily lives, how we conduct ourselves in our households, with our women, with our children, if you have that, at your job, so on and so forth, and these in different environments, right? So anyways, I'll leave it there, but hopefully, as always, hopefully this lesson was edifying. And I just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.